question of the day is, what were the rural Minnesota senators doing when the House was running for re-election? And in my case, we formed the Senate Rural Task Force, which met August through December, an 8-member bipartisan committee, and it was charged with identifying key issues of concern relating to rural Minnesota. At this point, I'd like to mention all the people who were on that committee. Senator Ken Eakin, Senator Dahl, Senator Vicki Jensen, Senator Bill Weber, Senator Julie Rosen, Senator Gary Dames, and Senator Paul Gazalka. And I guess I'd say that the task force, it didn't take us very long to unanimously agree that workforce training should be the #1 priority. And in the course of the presentations, the Higher Education Career Advisory Pilot Program was identified as exactly what was needed to address the needs of businesses wishing to expand in rural Minnesota. The Rural Task Force developed draft language with the help of the stakeholders to expand the pilot project, as I mentioned above, to all of rural Minnesota. And the focus of this bill is to establish a coordinator in each rural workforce development center. At this point, we're going to call it a Rural Career Counseling Coordinator. If you're from northern Minnesota, you would call that ICCC. And the result was Senate File 420. The key points are each RCCC will contact and the students and schools, businesses, and higher education opportunities, and coordinate all those. The workforce development centers, we think, are the natural place to house this position because they study this information at a local level. Students will be informed of the good jobs, opportunities in their local area, and the training courses that are needed to qualify for them.
I'm going to talk a little bit about my workforce housing proposal. Across rural Minnesota, employers are wanting to hire, but when they find the skilled workers to fill those positions, they are often running into a problem of lack of available housing for those workers and their families. On a personal note, I just recently attended a groundbreaking event in Albert Lea, Minnesota, where a local dentist is willing to expand her business, invest in the community, and wanted to grow some more jobs there. She had offered a job to a local dental hygienist who accepted the position, but upon coming to Albert Lea and not being able to find affordable housing, she was no longer accepted that position. We hear this also from the Albert Lea Medical Center, which is a part of the Mayo system in southern Minnesota, and the #1 issue that they have too is affordable housing. So we think this is very important. We've heard it across the state all the way from Worthington to Warroad, and we're going to try to tackle it. The problem is local market factors, including smaller populations, lack of diverse business base, and higher cost of development, make investing in housing in rural areas more risky. What is needed in some of these cases is just a small amount of support to bridge the financing gap. The plan is that the proposal takes ideas from several of our neighboring states, so we're not reinventing the wheel, and approaches the problem from a number of different angles to get projects built. The bill creates the Office of Workforce Housing to get a handle on the issues and coordinate our efforts. The bill also offers tax credits that will help attract private dollars from both large and small investors statewide. And those investments, in a combination with the grant program, will start to see more development move forward.
One of the first things that I heard when I was elected was that just because we build it doesn't mean that they will come. Well, I can tell you that from experience, if we don't build it, the chances of them coming and the possibility for them to stay is even less. So I worked on the Greater Minnesota Business Development Public Infrastructure Grant Program the last session, and I continue to do that this session to ensure that there's stability within that program. We've seen the power of the program firsthand. I have in my district. Just last year, there was an award of $400,000 to expand business infrastructure, and it created 40 new jobs. So we know that this works. In fact, it's the Department of Deed has stated that this is one of their most successful programs that they have, yet we continue to underfund it. So what my proposal does is it proposes to put $40 million into the program, utilizing bonding and appropriations, so cash. There is some limitations to what you can do with bonding money. So we want to make sure that we have some cash available for those things that are not available.
I'm sponsoring Senate File 525, which addresses the need in the skilled labor by expanding BEAD's job training pilot program. We've been finding in rural Minnesota that there's job openings and there's a need to hire skilled people, but what's happening is that oftentimes the skilled labor isn't available because of the people don't have the training yet, and providing the training to the people is not always an easy thing for the businesses to do. And so what this bill would do is, in fact, there's as much as a 16% job vacancy rate in greater Minnesota, and it's all related to skilled labor, like in machining and welding and manufacturing. So what this bill does is it's a job training proposal. It's a tax credit or a competitive grant program that gives employers the tools they need to train the workers necessary to fill the open positions.
I'd just like to say a few words about our efforts recently to promote broadband expansion in greater Minnesota, and specifically I'd like to speak to our border-to-border broadband fund that was enacted in 2014. In many regards, broadband adds value to many of the investments we just heard about, whether it's promoting employment or starting a new home-based business or a storefront on Main Street. Also improving education, job training, or skills. Broadband connects all of those areas. In many regards, broadband is a great equalizer in greater Minnesota in terms of economic development and quality of life. It removes barriers of time, distance, and geography, and it allows all corners of the state to compete in the 21st century economy. But nearly 20% of Minnesota, that's 450,000 households, currently lack access to broadband, to basic broadband. In 2014, we created our border-to-border broadband fund to target investment in hard-to-reach areas of the state where populations may be sparse and return on investments just aren't there for private investment. Round one saw over 6,000 households connected or to be connected with high-speed broadband, 150 businesses, and over 83 community institutions around the state, providing access for e-commerce, telemedicine, distance learning, and precision agriculture. In 2015, we're seeking $100 million to renew this fund for rounds 2 and rounds 3. There's tremendous interest out there in this fund, and this effort will allow us to inspire meaningful partnerships around the state.
I think this is a recognition that there are unique situations that happen in rural that are just uniquely different. That doesn't mean that they're more important or less important, but as a group in the Senate, we decided, at least I served on that task force, and that happened last year early, so that we could take a look at what does this mean? What are the unique situations that are impacting our communities in rural Minnesota? And we concluded we need the infrastructure to bring the businesses to have the jobs. Then we need the training of the people so that there are qualified, skilled workers available to fill those jobs. And we need housing. If once they get the job, if they're coming from somewhere else, they need a place to live. So this is a complete package that tries to address that unique issue of people leaving are not being attracted to come and stay. And there are other bills that are out there that we've been discussing in the Senate. But this in particular, we wanted to just make sure that you understood that we're looking at a comprehensive type situation for the unique situations that happen in rural Minnesota.